Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
I used to go out to parties and stand around because I was too nervous to really get down. But my body yearned to feel free. I got up on the floor so somebody could choose me. No more standing there beside the walls. Finally got myself together, baby, and I'm having a ball. Welcome to Story Route 0, episode 55. That was the late, great Marvin Gaye. Got to Give It Up, one of the greatest dance songs of all time. My name is Matthew Keel, and I've got three friends with me. I'm going to start off with transplant masshole herself, Michaela, buried under snow. How you doing?
I'm good, and we're getting more snow tomorrow. We've got snow on top of snow on top of snow.
Oof.
It's a winter wonderland.
Yeah, I don't.
That's one thing I don't miss anymore.
Yeah, I know you're in the Northeast, but that's some Midwestern ass shit, and I do not miss it one bit. I do like how we tend to get one here in Philly, and that's about it. Other than that, you good?
Yep. I mean, survived the Monday.
Still vertical?
Still vertical with caffeine.
Cool. Second voice you heard representing space, drinking a space blood orange beer.
Yeah.
And who unironically made several cameos in my weekend in ways that he doesn't understand. Moose Cool, how are you?
Doing well, man. It's Monday.
Cool. And as always, probably the
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Now you can just treat it as whatever you want.
Such kind.
That is so kind.
Words.
No, stop it.
Just go on.
No, you're the best. You're the best.
The people who are just listening and not watching have no idea. Want to take a mulligan? All right, let's go.
This thing on.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there he goes. I wonder if his internet went down.
Maybe. Now what?
Take it away, Michaela.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We talk about video games, right? So, how was your weekend? How's the coffee? What's your mug say?
My mug says, "Welcome to Robot Punch City. Population, everyone's face."
Nice.
That's an aggressive mug.
It's Borderlands, the
I was
pre-sequel.
gonna say, is that for Clattrap?
No, it's for what's the guy from the pre-sequel who with the two?
Oh, is that Willem?
Wilhelm. Yes.
Wilhelm. Sorry, Willem is Bloodborne.
He just texted, "I pay Jason a compliment and get kicked."
See, he can't win. Like he says something
I
wrong.
I don't believe he paid me a compliment.
Yeah,
I
there
have
you
no
go. That's
idea
you need
what
to
he
say.
said.
That's what you need to say. There's no proof.
We
There
should
was
put
a
that right
compliment.
back. We have no idea. It could have been the nastiest shit anyone has ever said on this show, and we'll never know. So how long do we?
Well, he'll come back. So, Michaela, how was your weekend?
Mixed bag. We had some ups, we had some downs. We are healthy and safe, is what I can say about the end of this weekend. We had a scare on Friday that I won't go into, but we are okay. We got more snow.
Not okay.
Oh,
Yep, here we go.
there he is.
Welcome back.
He's in the same spot.
What happened?
You froze, man.
Did I just get dropped?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the thought of giving me a compliment seized up Zoom.
They're like, he can't do that.
It was like, we will lose everything.
Zoom's like, our stock's about to plummet. Kick him. Our stock's about to plummet.
We don't want the Redditors to get a hold of us. Okay, so we're still going then, right?
Yeah. Michaela was discussing her weekend. We skipped ahead. I mean, if you want to go back to the compliment, I mean,
Now he's just fishing.
Did it actually get recorded?
No.
It said,
So I said, and the actual captain of this ship, Jason Marshall. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
I don't know. Okay, I'll take it.
I mean,
Just take it.
Armchair captain. Anyway, Michaela, your weekend. Please continue.
Yeah, mixed bag. We're okay. We're healthy. We can be happy about that. We got more snow.
Not happy about that.
I actually, what happened Friday aside, I'm like that person who likes the snow. I don't hate shoveling. I like the snow. I won't drive in it for shit. Like, even if there's like half an inch, I'm not driving. I'm sorry. If we had like a wedding planned, I'm not going. Sorry. You can stand there by yourself.
Good luck.
But
every parent around the world said, fuck you.
Yep. So what else did I do this weekend? I played a lot of video games, like a good amount. I watched the super game, the football, the stuff that happened yesterday. I watched that.
The foosball.
I watched like 75% of it. The end was kind of boring, at which point I was doing some like grinding in a game and I put the game on mute and I had like the game on a different screen, so I was like half paying attention to the fourth quarter.
Welcome to my world. But go ahead.
Yeah, I only do that with games like where it's a grind session. You don't need to pay attention.
Yeah, right. No, totally.
But yeah, no. I feel like that about. I did some cleaning. You know, the fun stuff that you do on the weekends. Like your Saturday, it's like, I could watch TV, I could play a video game, or I could clean the bathtub. So, fun Saturday.
And we all know Michaela Cushon likes to party, so she cleaned the bathtub.
Oh, fuck, I did.
Moose, Jason, whichever one you would like to go, because clearly my connection is a ticking time bomb at this point.
Moose?
Weekend was good. I had to work Saturday because we had technology issues on Friday. And then Sunday, just played some video games and watched the Super Bowl. It's a good weekend. Made chili, too. What? Correction. The wife made chili. Beer can chili. And it was delicious.
Beer can chili.
You just throw a can of beer in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Pour it in, I should say.
Like empty, just the aluminum.
For the ones at home who might actually think, throw a can in. You pour it.
I mean, I've played Hitman. You can kill someone with a soda can.
I mean, you can. Now, I recommend like ales are good. Like I like making it in October with a nice Oktoberfest. I did an Imperial IPA. That was like I'm gonna be honest. It was the darkest beer I could find with the best ABV, which was 9%. So I was like, winner.
Yeah.
So that's what I came.
Winter chili dinner.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, that was my weekend. Jason, how about you?
I adulted, and I have a story about it. Moose already heard this one. So we were putting shelves in the girls' playroom. So we went to the Home Depot, as one does, gave the guy the measurements to cut the piece of wood. Now, all we needed was 29 inches by 22 times 3. Simple. Mm-hmm. 29 by 22.
Okay.
So he cuts it, and I'm not really paying attention, and Jess is like, that's not going to fit. That you measured wrong. What is wrong with you? You measured. I'm like, no, I measured right. I'm like, I'll have to come back. And I'm like, still not paying attention. Pushing the cart to the register, and I'm like, wait a minute. So, as one does, Home Depot has rulers everywhere. I grabbed one off the shelf, 49 inches. And I'm like, that's not like...
Yeah.
So we walk all the way back down the aisle.
This isn't high school algebra. You're not getting extra credit for doing me more.
The worst part is he's with it, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you misheard, but we said 29 inches. This is 49. And he's like, no, I did it right. And I'm like, no, this is not 29 inches. And he goes, no, I did it right. The other guy with him takes out a ruler and then turns to the kid and goes, just go over there. Like, dude, I misheard you. It was the mask. It was like, don't. It's clearly 29 by 22. They're not that far off.
Right. Yeah. And as someone who wears a mask all day, every day for their shift, it's amazing how putting stuff over your nose and mouth affects your ears.
But no, he rode this sinking ship all the way down. It's like, no, I measured it. I'm like, you measured wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently can't read either.
Yeah.
Yeah. And me and the wife watched The Little Things on HBO.
Okay.
Jared Leto, Denzel, Rami Malek movie. It's okay.
That's what I heard.
It's a slow burn, and then the ending's kind of... They try to pull from Seven a lot, like with the vibe you get.
Yeah.
You know what? The performances were good. I think it was the movie itself, the cinematography that wasn't done well. Apparently, the guy who wrote the movie did it like a decade ago or something. It just never got it going. Mm. Just waited, like, when can I get Denzel, Jared Leto, and Rami Malek in a movie? Waiting.
Rami Malek isn't even relevant yet, so we got a long con this one.
Mm-hmm. I watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer, and then turned off the Super Bowl pregame show, and I was done. Not a fan of the title. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like the Falcon and or the Falcon and. No, anyone?
I mean,
no, I like it. Yeah.
Is he actually called the Falcon though? I feel like it's just Falcon.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, I guess technically it's the Falcon, but I don't know.
I think they should.
I mean,
it looks cool. It looks like it's going to be a good time.
I feel, so hang on. What's the deal with the Falcon? What's the deal with the Falcon? Like,
what do you mean?
Wise?
So, in one version of the comics, he becomes Captain America.
Okay.
But so does the Winter Soldier. So
right.
It's not like clear who ends up as Captain America.
Well, I feel like calling him the Falcon just sort of denigrates an entire species of bird who are actual falcons. So maybe just stick to Falcon.
That's a good point. Like, you are the one.
Yeah.
The best.
I've seen the Highlander.
And you're not even...
doesn't go well.
They're out there going like, he's not even a Falcon. What the hell?
Yeah, there's a couple of Falcons just going, fuck this guy, really? What, we've been here like just doing our jobs, keeping people's fields clean and shit, you know, dealing with all the pests and rodents, and this asshole just decides to give himself a name.
It looks really cool, like a buddy cop movie, and I think Disney Plus has been doing really well with their series so far.
Okay.
WandaVision's been really good.
Yes.
What's the deal with WandaVision? I keep hearing about it.
Gotta watch it. It's good.
I don't have Disney Plus.
So it follows the events of Endgame. I can't really.
He's not up to par on any of that, Jason.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I get what that means. So it's just postscript to Endgame, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, not really. It's more than that because, from my understanding, it's going down a storyline that has a possibility to start bridging the gap between
the X-Men
and the Avengers,
the
because
MCU.
now Marvel owns the X-Men
again,
and so there's going to be this whole because they're in phase 4 now, Jason.
Yeah.
This is technically phase 4 is starting with the shows, and I believe WandaVision is the first one, and then it'll be the Falcon and Winter Soldier. But that's going to start like the next phase. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be another Avengers movie where they have new Avengers.
There's a really famous X-Men.
What was that, Michaela?
Black Widow was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
But it got delayed.
Yeah, last year, and then
that was supposed to be the
who knows
start. But there's a really famous X-Men comics series that people think WandaVision is kind of doing. It's not confirmed yet, but like that would be the bridge then, how you bring the mutants over.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's tons of fan theories, like it could bridge to the next Doctor Strange, or
because that's supposed to come out soon too, right?
I think next year.
Okay.
But I mean, that show's good, so I think Falcon and Winter Soldier will be well done.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm gonna leave off both those.
There you go. Just fuck it all. Yeah, do it.
I'm down for that.
Don't let Disney tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They own everything else, but they don't own you, Jason. You stand up. Damn the man.
How was your weekend, man?
I had a 3-day weekend for the first time in I don't know how long.
Nice.
I worked Monday through Friday this past week, and it felt weird to be an adult. Waking up, like going into like midweek last week, I actually sort of preempted Reba, and I said, like, I'd like to play video games on Saturday if that's not too much to ask. Well, then we found out more snow was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And mid-Saturday, we decided we were going to go to the store Saturday night before they closed, rather than worry about doing it during the day. I did play a ton of video games this weekend. Most of them actually, it was co-op, a lot of it, so that was fun. Nice. And we watched This Is 40, which is Paul.
Go ahead.
It's a Paul Rudd movie. I don't remember. I think a couple years ago. I don't remember how long.
I want to say it was probably when I was in college, so it's been a while.
2012.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Oh.
That's when I started college.
Wow. Because I don't remember that movie being mentioned way back then. I remember hearing about it recently.
Well, 2012, it would have been overshadowed by Bridesmaids, unfortunately.
Yet Melissa McCarthy makes a cameo in it. So yeah, that was 2012.
Jesus.
It's not a sequel. It's a spin-off of Knocked Up.
Yes. It's a spin-off. Knocked Up.
Because they're in it. They're a married couple in there.
That explains why the dude from Forgetting Sarah Marshall is in there. Okay. other than the fact that, you know, it's a Judd Apatow movie. That was an interesting cinematic experience because I don't feel like being this age is like that, or at least that's not my experience. Like, I'm not sitting there, you know, thinking that I'm past relevance or whatever. I guess that's probably because I was never actually relevant, which is probably okay. Although I will say this, it did bring forth some weird anxiety about having kids. And then if I found like through Paul Rudd and the woman who plays his wife in the movie, I don't remember her name.
Leslie Mann.
Okay. Thanks, Jay. Watching them go through like trying to figure out whether or not they are, you know, together in the partnership and whatnot was really interesting. And then eventually, like I'm like, I don't want to be this couple talking to their kids this way. And then eventually you start to see like how it affects the kids in terms of like all of the early work they had done to sort of see the kids become people. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. Now I'm kind of back in. So yeah, lots of weird present stuff coming into watching a movie from 2012. And I will say the Melissa McCarthy cameo in it is actually brilliant. The way she tells off a suburban, like either middle school or high school principal, it's perfect. Because I would love to say half the shit she says to any principal I ever had, because they were over entitled pricks. Other than that, I ate a stupid amount of pizza.
Nice.
There is no such thing as a stupid amount of pizza.
Yes, there is. No pizza is a stupid amount.
Yes, there.
Okay. All right. We'll allow it.
Okay, well, then I ate a smart amount of pizza.
You ate a super intelligent
Brilliant
amount of pizza.
pizza.
Yes, a brilliant amount of pizza.
We ordered 2, and I ate 1.
Uh-huh.
And then I had leftovers the next day.
Sounds about right.
That's
the man I know.
we adulted. We went to Trader Joe's, did some grocery shopping, and then we made lasagna, which I ate a stupid amount of lasagna today. What?
So you ate none. You're getting these wrong. A stupid amount of lasagna is also 0.
Brilliant.
Okay.
You ate a brilliant amount.
I ate a heroic dose of lasagna.
There you go. Heroic. I like
good with
that.
that.
That works.
And then I decided to wash it down with a pint of Ben & Jerry's cannoli ice cream because
You're on an Italian kick, huh?
I'm not. I gotta admit, I'm not a huge fan of
The fuck is it?
cannoli.
What the fuck is a cannoli ice cream? Is it ricotta instead of ice cream?
No, it's
no, it has
but
mascarpone in it.
yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know. I feel like a lot of the Ben & Jerry's flavors have more like oomph to them, and the cannoli's kind of blah. I don't know.
I've never even seen it. I didn't know that was a
I'm not a
thing.
huge fan of the cannoli one.
Well, I think I have weird taste when it comes to Ben & Jerry. Like this was my first time having the cannoli, which I really enjoyed, but I also like how they mess with the texture of ice cream. Probably my favorite of theirs right now is Milk and Cookies.
That's a
Which,
good one.
if you think about it for more than 10 seconds, you're like, wait a minute, milk is basically ice cream, but there's like a weird texture in there that is very nice.
I'm I'm fish food fan.
Yeah, fish food's
food
really
is a
good.
classic.
Fish food's really good.
I haven't had fish food since I was in
And
college.
the tonight dough.
Oh, I can't do that one. That has ingredients that'll kill me.
Live a little, jeez.
I mean, I have nut allergies. I don't feel like dying.
Did you know that some Ben & Jerry's shops deliver?
Yes.
It's like a pizza place. It's
Yes.
magical. It's beautiful. There was
You
one
could
next
order-
to my campus.
You could be stupid and order an amount of Ben & Jerry's and pizza.
That would be the perfect, like, there's a Ben & Jerry's, there's a pizza parlor right next door.
Yeah.
Well, there's a Ben & Jerry's in University City, so it's surrounded by like Drexel and Penn. So of course Ben and Jerry's has like 3 local pizza places next to it. So you know they get hit when school's open and there's not a pandemic on. But yeah, that was basically my weekend. I did play a bunch of video games. So let's go there. Who would Michaela, you played a lot of video games.
I did. How many?
What'd you play? You played 4 video games. That's a lot.
No, you're close. Technically I played 3, but mostly I only played 2.
Okay.
Because in terms of technically, so Friday was movie theater butter day.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
so I was a little busy and distracted on Friday, but Saturday I remembered to upgrade my Nioh 2 on PS5 to the remastered version, which you can do for free with Nioh 2. I heard that you can't do it, the free upgrade for Nioh 1. It's only free for Nioh 2 to get the remaster on PS5. I didn't test that theory. I only upgraded Nioh 2 because that's really the only one I care about playing right now, because I was waiting for the better frame rates and such to go back and do the DLC, which I haven't touched yet. I haven't played the game in almost a year. I reviewed it when it came out in March. I platinumed it by the first week of April, and then FF7 came out, and I didn't touch Nioh again. So I upgraded Nioh 2, and I just tested it out to make sure. It was a little funky trying to get the DLC to transfer over, but the cloud save system that they input was really, really nice. So I just had to boot up Nioh 2 on my PS4, upload my character and my save data to the cloud from just like the start menu of the game, and then I could download it on my PS5 easy peasy in about 5 seconds. So I just checked that out real quick.
Does it have to be to the cloud, or could you use a USB drive, or do you know?
I mean, you could physically copy, like you could go to your storage and copy your save data onto a USB, but the game, literally, it's in the start menu. It's like upload your character, bing, it goes to your account, and then you open the game on the PS5, download your character, and then it's there. It's super quick.
Cool.
Yes. I'm assuming you probably need PS Plus to do it, though, but I don't know. Didn't delete my PS Plus to try and find out. So.
Michaela's not fucking around and finding out today. Not when it comes to Nioh 2.
I won't really get to Nioh 2 in the immediate future because of a different game I'm now working on, and I'll get to that in a second. But one thing that I noticed that's going to bother me, and it's already triggered my OCD, all but like 8 of the trophies popped when I upgraded to the PS5 remastered version of Nioh 2. Just some of the hidden trophies didn't pop, so it looks like I don't have the platinum on PS5, and that triggers me.
Uh-oh. Yeah. No, that would trigger me too. I'd be like, what the fuck, Nioh?
Oh, I might go get those like 8 trophies, and they're just super simple trophies. It's like meet certain conditions within a mission. So like make sure you beat all or both of the horse bosses in one level, or make sure you ring all of the bells in a different level. It's like level based. You can replay the mission just to meet the conditions real quick. Like there's trophies.
Nioh 1 had several of those.
Yeah, and those are the only ones that didn't pop. So like maxing out all the weapons and learning all the arts and stuff like that, all of that transferred over, no problem. It was just the meeting certain conditions during missions one that didn't pop. It was kind of weird. So like I'm gonna have to fight Gyuki again and get him to ram into the fucking dam. But whatever, I'll do it. So I'll probably do those, and then I'll move on to the DLC when I get there. I don't know when I'm gonna get there. I am excited to do that. I've heard great things about the DLC. But I also I beat FF XII, the Zodiac Age today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't want to leave it unfinished because my plan was to focus mostly on East last week once it came. But I was so close. Like when we talked last Monday, I think I said I was like 80% through the story. So I was so close to beating FF XII that I couldn't leave it like hanging. So I dedicated some time today and over the weekend to just banging out the end of the story. I left a save file at right before the point of no return. So if I ever wanted to, I could go back and do more of the like optional side content that I didn't get to. but as is, I already put like 60 hours into it, and I just wanted to finish it. So that was good. Completely done with my prep now for the RPG episode.
Cool.
Very nice.
Still love that game. Still love it a lot.
Awesome.
The ending's a good one. I like the ending of that game. It gets to a little bit of like almost a Persona boss, where Vayne Solidor just keeps evolving and becoming more crazy. Like the design looks like something that came out of Persona, but inserted into
Dick Monster. Got it.
No, not that. He looks more like
Skeleton woman drinking
the
wine, riding
guy?
on a 9-headed dragon.
What's the bald guy's name with the glasses, the dick, who has the big ship in Persona 5?
Captain Kidd?
No. The bad guy.
Oh shit. What the fuck's his name?
Akechi's dad.
Yeah,
that one.
It's Akechi's dad, yeah.
You know how he gets all like bulky and veiny?
Yeah.
Looks like that. In his second form. And then he fuses with a god, of course, because it's a JRPG. Of course, the bad guy becomes.
You have to kill
What else
God,
do you do in JRPGs?
Well, at least in Persona, there was a weird personification of people's desires where it's just the Holy Grail. Whatever.
Yeah. So I did that. I kicked his ass real hard. Like I wanted to end it with this really cool quickening chain at the end, but he died too fast. So I just like accidentally killed him.
I know what that's like.
And then the third game that I started last week, obviously, is Ys 9. Came out on Tuesday. My copy got here on Wednesday. I'm like 10 to 12 hours into it. I'm in chapter 4. So story-wise, I think I'm probably a third of the way through the game. Ys games, like Ys 8 took me like 45 hours. So I know from the trophies that there's a prologue, 8 chapters, and then the final chapter. So essentially it's a 10-chapter game, and I'm in like the middle of chapter 4. So it seems like I would safely say like a third of the way through the game. I wouldn't say I'm actually halfway through close to halfway through the game yet, because I feel like later chapters tend to be longer.
Yeah.
And I am thoroughly enjoying that. Like very much.
I saw what you posted. That looked dope as hell. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I fucking want to play Ys now.
Yeah, Ys is, if you're a fan of JRPGs, and if you're a fan of action JRPGs, Ys is a good series to play.
Mm-hmm.
Ys 9 is not a bad entry point. It is definitely the most modern. So like Ys 8 is a great game, but originally it was for the Vita, so it looks older than it is, even though it got ported over to PS4 and then eventually PC and Switch.
Now, is 8 after Memories of Celceta?
I think so. Celceta and 8 are connected, and I just forget which order they're in, because Ys games aren't always released in order,
Right.
or told in order, because it's all
Sure.
Adol's journals.
Yep.
9 is definitely the most recent, like he's
Yeah.
the farthest forward in the timeline, I should say.
Okay.
Adol looks older. You immediately notice the game looks older and slightly more mature. It's still anime looking, but he looks more mature. He looks taller than he did even in Ys 8. And it makes references. One of the things that I really appreciated right away in the game is that it makes fun of itself. So if you know anything about Ys, Adol is always the protagonist pretty much. And he is an adventurer who tends to get shipwrecked a lot. Like I want to say half of the games start with him getting shipwrecked, including 8.
So he's Gulliver from Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Just always ending up on the beach somewhere.
Yeah. And then he always finds all these like ridiculous, like you wouldn't believe it, like you fight dinosaurs in Ys 8, and he gets all these like legendary weapons and tends to lose them because of the story circumstances of the game. So in the beginning of the game, you're in prison actually, and you're trying to escape prison, but you get interrogated at one point, and she's like, you're telling me you found all this legendary shit and you lost it? I find that hard to believe. And then they make fun of how often he gets shipwrecked. Like even fishermen do not have this many boating accidents in their history. And it was just funny that it was very self-aware humor. So I appreciated that. And something else that I really appreciate is that, so Ys 8, the best part of Ys 8 is Donna. I mean, she's in the title. It's called Lacrimosa of Donna. But she was like the center of the mystery. Here in Monstrum Nox, there's a whole party of characters right away that are called Monstrums. So Adol becomes one of them because he gets cursed essentially. And there's like 6 others, I think, that you meet right away. And there's a lot of characters shrouded in that mystery instead of just Donna. So there's less of an individual focus, but there's more pieces to the puzzle, more backstory, more intrigue to get through, more characters to meet, and each chapter focuses on a new one. And it just seems like the E series is moving more and more towards that balanced character roster, of having the focus not just be on Adol, which I kind of like, because he is like that silent self-insert protagonist, kind of like a Joker or the hero from Dragon Quest. He's not really fleshed out as a person, really. So I really like it. I like that it's a bit more of a mature themed game. It's still kind of hokey. If you know anything about East, it's kind of a hokey series, but if you like that JRPG-ness, that anime-ness, it's just fun. It's simple. It's not a particularly difficult game. It's kind of hack and slash button mashy with, like a ton of flashy abilities that are just fun to spam. Different characters have different attack types and patterns that do different damage types, and different enemies are weak to different damage types. So there's like slash and smash and pierce damage. So you constantly, your character switching kind of almost like in a Tales game. It's very quick, smooth, one button character switching. And it's fun. I thought that the setting being a prison city, it's a city that's built around this whole prison fortress, would feel kind of constricting, because previous East games like 8 take place on an island and you just go and explore the island and find dinosaurs apparently, or primordials, I think they were called on Siren.
As you do.
But the city feels decently big, and the way that the game's mechanic works, so when Adol becomes cursed, like with the Monstrum curse, he gets trapped in the city. So you have to go into the Nox, the Grimwald Nox, to fight monsters called lemurs or whatever, and unlock more of the city, because you can't pass through the barrier until you destroy the Nox. So the city keeps expanding and you keep going in and out of the prison, and there seems to be some interesting world building going on. So I'm very much enjoying it. And there's a pretty good voice cast.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
Did you say lemurs?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think that's how it's said. It's Lemures. It looks like lemurs, but
yeah, this won't contribute anything to the discussion. But I just thought of that scene in Austin Powers where he's like, "Pretend you are a lemur. You do not have teeth capable of biting." Anyway,
it's hard not to think lemur when you see it. So I just
where are all these lemurs I keep hearing about?
No. But yeah, and there is kind of like a central focus on another character called Aprilis, like April, but Aprilis.
Sure.
She's not Donna, but she's like the cover, like when you load in the start menu of the game. She's got like a robot arm and a robot leg and one black Sephiroth wing. I don't know. But she shoots you in the beginning of the game, and that's how you get cursed. She shoots you with like this green bullet. And there's a lot of mystery going on with her so far. I just did like this event where she just like randomly showed up like bleeding from her head, and I'm like, what the fuck? Since when is there blood in East?
Now, apparently
since today. Apparently Aprilis got herself into some shit.
Blood in the FF16 trailer, all bets are off.
Right?
JRPGs are going rated R.
I mean, yeah, okay. So you're enjoying this. You're enjoying this hokey ass JRPG with basically Columbo as its main character, which I kind of love. If all of that kind of just sells me just a little bit more on this. So keep telling us about it. Jason, let's go to you next.
I played a good number of games. The first, I snuck in there so Moose wouldn't know about it. Olija.
Yeah.
And then wrote a review.
When I saw you posted the review, and I think it was last night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometime last night.
It was during the first quarter of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was playing Guilty Gear with my buddy Julian, and I'm like, motherfucker, Jason reviewed Olija and didn't tell us. I was genuinely, I'm like, he could have at least said something.
Surprise.
And then Julian's like, what's Olija? I'm like, don't worry about it. Let's play Guilty Gear. Anyway, continue.
Olija is a fun game. It's got a great story, but it's platforming with a harpoon that you can teleport to when thrown.
Essentially a grappling hook.
Yes.
Which, we like grappling hooks in this house.
Yeah, grappling hooks usually
if someone makes a bad grappling hook, I've yet to find it.
I mean,
have you ever watched Gravity Falls?
No, I haven't. So I haven't found the bad grappling hook. Now I know where not to look for the bad grappling hook. So thank you for that.
Only you had Disney Plus.
I did point out in my review, it is short. It's about 4 hours, it felt longer, but I mean, when I figure out the time played, I mean, I wish it was, or maybe more difficult to last longer, but one man developed it, published by Devolver, but one guy did all the animations and everything. Quite impressive.
Yeah, when this game was talked about at E3, it looks dope.
And I was telling Moose, this was a game that was available today, and someone messed up because it wasn't available today on anything. Because then it was available today only on Steam. And then you look on Steam and it's like, add to wish list. It's like, that's not available. That's not what that means. You keep using this word.
I do not think you know what this means.
I don't think this word means what you think it does.
I did write another review. Destruction All-Stars, the free offering from PlayStation Plus.
The free to explode.
Yes.
Swing and a miss?
I mean, I definitely would recommend grabbing it or download it to your library while it's free for the next 2 months. But for a title touted as a this multiplayer game, it's got issues. There's a paywall. Considering in April the game's going to be full price, which is $70.
$70, yeah. I've heard Giant Bomb talk about this.
Putting content behind a paywall?
Bad idea.
If it was completely free to play and what was available was more fleshed out, I could see that somewhat, but considering it's not going to always be free, think Rocket League if it didn't have like the league, the ranking up, like it kind of just you play, you level up, you can buy cosmetics. There's no nothing further. So it's like to lock this part of the content, which is essentially the story mode. It's like it's just backstory that they're gonna gradually release over time. You have to pay for it, and at minimum it's $5. And the cosmetics, I mean, I don't care about them normally, but they're just color swaps.
Oh.
They're not. I mentioned in my review, but like, I feel like Borderlands does cosmetics the way I like it. You visibly see a difference. Like,
yeah,
you might have like a horse head or cowboy hat. Like,
yeah,
just a color swap though. Like, I mean,
or you have Zero in a weird Malawan outfit. It's great.
Yeah, like,
or you could turn your Fall Guy into a banana or a hot dog.
Like, I mean, sure, some people just like the color swaps, but I mean, and I have no problem with that behind paid currency or earned currency, but like actual content, especially for a non-free game. I mean, sure, a free game has to make money, but this isn't a game that's free.
Right. Yeah. This is
free now, but in 2 months, it's not free. So,
and then on top of that, any additional story is $5. Yeah, this seems bad.
I think I can't be sure, but speculation is that the cost of each episode, it doesn't seem to add up that $5 won't buy you 2. Like the way that like it requires currency to buy, which you could buy, but I think as you buy currency, you're gonna have to buy like $10 to get the next 3 because the currency it's not like an even exchange. Like you get a certain amount of currency for $5, but it won't be enough to afford another pack. So you'll have to buy another one, and then if you want the third one, you won't have enough left over, so you'll have to buy another one. It's like this is a slippery slope there, guys.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad microtransactions right there.
And this game was like, it was supposed to be a launch title, and then they said, no, we're going to push it back. It'll be free for 2 months for PS Plus subscribers. I mean, it looks great. It does play well. Multiplayer could use some work. Like, me and Jeff played a game. We want to try a different mode. We had to abandon the party to then reform a party to try a different mode. What?
Okay.
Like,
that seems like something that could be fixed.
that probably is a fixable thing. But yeah, maybe we'll see changes in 2 months when it goes to pay. But
yeah. But
I looked after my review came out, I did look, and I feel like a lot of people felt like it looks good. It does play well what you can play, but it's a limited amount.
It's a purposefully limited amount, it seems like.
Yeah. So
what next?
I started Gods Will Fall on Switch. It's I don't want to say Diablo clone. It's an action RPG. It's interesting. You start with a group of warriors, and you can pick which one you want to go in the dungeon. And each one has like 2 axes, 2 maces, a 2-hand axe, and they have different stats. If you die, someone else has to go in after them. And to clear each dungeon, you have to just kill all the enemies. So I don't know if they upgrade. I've only beaten 1 dungeon, so I'm like, I want to see if their stats what's cool is like I died, and one of the other heroes said like, "Oh, so and so had saved me from a shipwreck. Like I need to avenge them." And their health for that, if you picked them, was you had a bonus, and they had more health than anyone else. Like it was like they wanted revenge, and they go in there. It's interesting. So we'll see what else. I tried the demo for Narita Boy.
Yes, which looks cool as hell.
It's you know, it reminded me of the scene from was it Toy Story when they find the aliens and they're like they think they live in this thing and then they escape. You're basically in a computer and these people have the motherboard. Or it's similar to Men in Black, the residents of the locker and all hell.
Yes,
kind of like
yes.
Are basically praying to sections of a computer like the motherboard, and you have to get to different. You have to like fix the code, so you have to fix sections of but they think it's their kingdom.
All praise Ryzen 5. Am I right?
So it's interesting. Platforming felt good. Enough challenge. It's just demo, so I don't know what else is to come. Something to watch out for. I think it's all platforms.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing it on Switch at least.
Yeah, I think definitely Switch. PC, obviously.
They said PC and consoles in their announcement trailer. So second quarter, I think, 2021, right?
Yeah.
Just
rapidly approaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about it.
Well, that also depends. Is it fiscal year or?
Yeah, I was thinking that, and as soon as I said that, I'm like.
So I mean, at least by the end of summer. Yeah. So that's cool.
More Tony Hawk with Aria. She's getting better. She can land a kickflip.
Nice. Nice.
That's
She doing any manuals yet?
she's done them, but I've watched and I think they're completely accidental.
Fair.
Like she's jumped and pushes forward at just the right time that she's landing. She moved opposite direction she was going, and it just happened to hit a manual. I don't think she's planned. I don't think they're planned manuals. And that's about. I think that's about it.
Moose.
I have been playing some Division 2. And this weekend I played a bunch of Breakpoint. So last week, like they did the crossover Rainbow Six event, and like I almost threw my controller, almost said computer, my controller through a damn wall because of the one end mission. But anyways, so I decided to get back into that a little bit because I am level 20 now, gear score 90 something, and I haven't played a main quest. Like that's just running around, like clearing bases and stuff, and then like doing the Rainbow Six event. And so I was like, I should probably do some side quests and maybe some story stuff, you know? So I mean, and I did one main story quest, and then a whole bunch of side stuff happened just because, you know, you're out there and it's like, ooh, piece of candy, you know? Like, like
Yeah.
What I really like about Breakpoint is like when you go to a base, you can like mouse over it on the map and it'll tell you all the gear that is there or all like the loot. And then you can like, it'll check off if you got it or not. And so like once I'm done like messing around with a base, like I could just go to the map and check it and be okay, I have everything. I actually did it yesterday where I had to fly blueprints to this scientist, and I left and I was like landing and I was like, I don't think I got everything there. So I opened up the map and I looked, nope, didn't. Dropped off the blueprints, immediately got in the helicopter and flew back. And by the time I flew back, the entire base respawned. And I was like, murder. So it's a good time. So I know Jason and Jeff. So for those who don't know, Breakpoint is kind of like Wildlands now. When it first launched, it did not have like Wildlands has 3 computer controlled AI. You can give them like commands like go to this point, like take this sync shot. So basically you can line up shots, 4, them 3 plus yours. You can take out 4 people at once. And so like you can mark the shots you want them to take, and then there's like a little icon for it that kind of like flashes, and then it'll turn solid once they can make the shot. And then all you have to do is aim down your sight and hit X if you're not shooting anything, or just make your first shot on the 4th target and they'll go down. Well, when Breakpoint launched, they didn't have the AI. And so I know that's how Jeff's playing it. Jason's playing it that way too, I believe, right? You didn't add the AI, right? Like last time we talked, you did. Okay, so you're not. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play with the AI and see how it goes. And it's actually better than Wildlands because now you're not watching your AI companion just walk in front of the enemy and nothing happens. Like now they're spotted. So like they get seen a lot more easily. You're still able to mark shots and all that stuff. I still like I get into this frustration point with it, and Jeff has to listen to me complain about it all the time like I do when he does platforming. But like there's a point where like there are 3 guys within 5 feet of me and I'm looking in this direction shooting something, and my teammates are right by me and they're not killing those guys. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you shooting a guy like over like 50 feet away behind a rock? There's 2 dudes right here running up on us trying to kill us. And I go down. Like I basically die, and then they have to revive me. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I wish they were a little bit more intelligent. I mean, there is a command where they can just, you tell them it's basically open season on anybody. Just attack whatever you want. You're free to go, pull the trigger on anyone. But I feel like you have to do it like every instant.
You see a deer, it moves the wrong way, you kill it.
I mean, I've run over some deer.
Your face when you said that.
Anyways, so like Jeff and I were talking about it, and I agree with it to a point, because it's like, all right, when you're in a mission and you're trying to sneak around this whole base, and you're like, okay, if I fire, that doesn't mean you open fire, because I want to keep the element of surprise. You know what I mean? But it's pretty much like, I feel like the game should be, the AI should be there in the game where it's like, we're detected, open fire. You know what I mean? Like, and my main priority,
everybody's fucking loud. We're done.
Right. My squad mates are okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's their main priority. So anyways, just trying to work around that. There's gear score in the game. So now, like, I'm like level 90, I think I said. I went and took on a level 150 base, and it's pretty hectic because, like, you can wipe pretty quickly. Like, it's one shot. Like, it's one shot for the enemy and you go down. And then if you go down a second time, like, you're killed in action and you have to respawn and do the whole thing over again. So it's a lot of fun trying to, like, figure out the base and how to take people out. The good thing is they don't come hunting for you unless they see you kill something. If they just see a dead body, it's just like, oh, they're on alert. Like, something's going on. And so, like, everybody in the base is on alert and you're like, oh shit. So you just kind of chill or take people out. There's a guy in the back corner. Nobody's looking at him. Boom, dead. You know what I mean? Snipers in the towers. Those are the first ones to go. The snipers are always the first ones to go, because
as they should be.
Yeah. While they're up in the towers and easy to see. And number two, they will put you down.
Yeah.
Hard. So, anyways,
at high ground's an unfair advantage and needs to be stopped.
What's really funny is, like, when I played Wildlands with Jason and Jeff, I had a grenade launcher hooked up, like a grenade launcher on the underbarrel of my assault rifle. I don't have that yet, so I'm running around with a grenade launcher. So literally, my class is supposed to be assault rifles and shotguns. So I have an assault rifle, a grenade launcher, and a shotgun. And my shotgun is silenced. It has a big ass silencer on it, and it's like, it's awesome. It's badass. It's so much fun.
I don't think that works.
I don't think it does either, but video games.
Yeah, video games.
So, like, I've been running around, and it's like, it's pretty silent. I want to say it's almost quieter than the assault rifle. Like, it's really weird. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm rolling with this. Kind of sounds like the one in No Country for Old Men. So, but anyways,
if you put them on cleared hot, they engage enemies on sight.
Yes, I understand that, but, like, my problem is, like, when we get spotted and stuff gets, like, it's action is escalating quickly, I shouldn't have to go into commands and say cleared for hot. Like, they should automatically know, let's do everything we need to do to, like, protect the squad and survive. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. Anyways, I feel like they should be like the pets in World of Warcraft, where you could be like, you're either aggressive or you're defensive or you don't do shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're passive. Like, when I'm sneaking in somewhere, you're passive, But anyways.
Yeah, but could you imagine AI teammates in Breakpoint acting like the pathing does for pets? Oh, I can't climb this ledge. Let me go 4 miles out of the way and pull 30 mobs with me.
I mean, that's true. That's a good point.
You bring the war to the base where you're already outnumbered at that point.
Yeah. So I've been playing.
That looked trippy.
That looked dope as shit. Just like the way that looked, it looked like you were drinking space.
Yeah. It's almost time for rainbow dust, and maybe we'll get space dust this year again. That'll be very nice.
What's space dust?
It's a double IPA version of rainbow dust, I believe.
Ooh.
It's very nice.
I'll bet.
It's not widely released like rainbow dust is.
Rainbow dust is delightful as shit. Holy crap.
I'm gonna get you some this year.
Hopefully we can get together.
Yes, if COVID allows, because I got a big box of shit for you. Not literal shit, but
yeah. Well, that's a different thing. That's
the other box.
That's the side bet that I lost.
But so Breakpoint was like majority of yesterday, and then I was like sitting there, and I kind of took a break from Immortals. Not that I don't like it, just I'm still kind of like at the rescued 2 gods, and I got to a puzzle where it's just like I got a new SD card last week, which went sideways, so I have to return it. So I saved the game and then like was reinstalling games, and I just haven't put it back on yet to like get back into playing it. But I do want to get back to it. Whatchamacallit? Breath of the Wild. A friend of mine has started her first playthrough streaming Breath of the Wild on Friday. And so, I'm like an addict. So I'm a little more like an addict with Breath of the Wild than I am Bloodborne, because I've watched people play Bloodborne and I'm like, I'm okay.
That's not true.
So,
I don't. I think the hours tell the truth.
You can't see, the problem is you don't know my hours on Zelda, because when I bought my Switch in the newer Switch in 2019 was that, it reset my time, and now like 400 or 500 hours are on my Japanese account because
but you have over 1,200 in Bloodborne.
They're about the same. But anyways, so I played some Zelda while I was watching the whatever you want to call that game last night, the Super Bowl.
You were watching the Patriots South win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, pretty much. Which, whatever. I just feel bad for Mahomes because it just didn't look like his team showed up.
He was hung out to dry.
Dude, yes. I'm like watching that and I'm like, this guy is putting everything he can into winning this game, and people are just looking like they're dragging ass. And I'm like, you're in the goddamn Super Bowl, man.
Someone made a meme, Jeff. It's Captain Jack Sparrow running, and it says Mahomes, and then it says the Bucks D, and it's the scene where he's running for his life, and like there's 40 people chasing him.
That's about right.
Poor guy. He's got to have like fucking toe surgery, and the D couldn't even keep him safe.
Yeah, he's gonna that was already determined he was gonna have to have that before the game started. So now it's a definite. But I mean, the good thing about it is he's young, and I feel like he is so. I don't think he's one of those quarterbacks that's just like a flash in the pan, like Kaepernick was. The quarterback, not last year for San Francisco.
Garoppolo.
The other quarterback, huh?
Jimmy G.
Like I think he was just a flash in the pan. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks that can't get past that second year into a third year where they can still perform. Like usually defenses figure them out and shut them down. Yeah, and Mahomes just seems to be really good at adjusting and just do. Like also the way he throws a sidearm when he's like almost laying down, it's like crazy,
Yeah.
So
he's super athletic. Yeah, I think he'll I mean, as long as he can keep all of that, and while still trying to attempt to get tougher, because I know that everyone's going to keep coming after him because he's definitely like.
He's young and he's the hot,
he's like 24, I think.
I mean, Brady is the undisputed GOAT. We can't really argue that anymore. But he's if he hasn't retired yet, he's going to retire soon.
He said he's
going to turn into like 90% made of like iron and just still be moving. He's going to be an automaton. He's going to be like a fucking Chuck E. Cheese Tom Brady coming up the field at some point.
But I don't, whatever. People can't.
Any other quarterback could do that, not Tom Brady, because that's too cool for fucking Tom Brady.
Brady will retire when he doesn't make the Super Bowl. If he makes the Super Bowl and loses, he's got to play again to redeem himself.
Yeah, got to go out on a win. That's how we do.
No, because I think in Tom Brady's head, if he doesn't win, he's worthless. And I didn't win 7 Super Bowls before. I lost my last game. That's my legacy. I think that's how he thinks because he's a competitor. But if he doesn't make the playoffs at all, then it's like, maybe it's time. So Mahomes could win in 2050 when Brady retires.
Well, Brady's what, 44?
Jesus Christ.
Somewhere thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I feel bad for Bill Belichick watching that game. Fuck.
I don't feel bad for Bill Belichick. Fuck him.
No, actually, it's more like this.
He's like, I'm not watching the game.
Do your favorite, cut your sleeves off real quick. And then
cut your sleeves off.
He wasn't watching the Super Bowl. He was trying to come up with plays with the players he has. He's like,
the Bucks wouldn't let Gronkowski touch the trophy because he dented it last year.
That makes sense.
He's a giant man-child. We all know this.
Yeah.
He's a giant fucking man-child.
Like Gronk is gonna retire and just
Again,
perform
you mean?
in the live act. He's gonna retire again, and then he's gonna go, play the Iron Giant in the live action adaptation of that animated movie that Disney will eventually do.
Well, you heard
nobody.
Yeah, you heard in the off season he was supposed to send in recordings of his workouts, and supposedly he did 7 workouts in one day and just changed his shirt and sent it in to get away with.
I believe it. This is why I like Gronkowski and I don't like Brady. Like, that's the kind of bullshit I can get behind. Football's
How did we even get on football?
We're talking about me playing Breath of the Wild while watching the Super Bowl. But anyways, I'm excited because I got Blue Fire, which I haven't had a chance to play yet. A little indie 3D platformer. So I'll be talking about that next week. And Mario comes out Friday.
Fucking A, it does. I can't wait.
Delivering. So I'm excited to play that, get some of that in. Maybe I can rope the wife into playing some. We'll see what happens.
I was going to get Phoenix Rising for PS4, but instead I decided to pay off that pre-order and get a Pro controller so Reba and I could play Smash.
There you go.
I'm just going to go right into mine unless you have anything else.
I am finished. You are good to go, sir. Thank you for checking, though.
So Reba, I introduced Reba to Smash. She's not a fan.
In her defense.
Oh no, I'm not mad about it. I'm not.
No, I know you're not mad about it. I'm just saying. I wanted to say, like, it's so weird. Like, Smash
it really is
so not new player friendly. It's not intuitive. Like, you look at the menus, you're like, I'm gonna have to beat my head against a wall to like understand this thing. I still haven't turned it back on yet.
I'm telling you got to learn the game when you're like 6.
Yeah,
that's the only way it's approachable.
So
sadly, that was like 36 years ago.
Fuck, I had a hard time doing that math, and you and I are the same age.
Oh my god!
So late Saturday night, I got on. A couple of friends I Discord with, T and Julian. One of them mentioned playing Smash, and I'm like, it's like 11 o'clock on a Saturday. I can play some Smash. And we did. And those two are genuinely like pretty good at it, but also they're not like put your face in the dirt or good at it. They're just like, okay, so here's let's just play. And then when you want to know something, we'll go through it with you. And, in Smash, and like, it's weird that I'm playing Anime Fighters and Smash now because all of them kind of have the idea where each character is kind of a system unto itself. So while there are certain mechanics that are consistent, like for instance, there's always a double jump. There's always a way to save yourself in Smash, but that is going to be different and require different things with every character. And also it depends on how much energy your character has. Like, for instance, I've been playing Joker, and Joker has Arson pop out behind him once he's taken a certain amount of damage, or once a meter that is in the HUD goes up. And I don't really know how to make that go up, so I'm really not going to go there with it. But Arson, when he's out, if you hit up and B, he just shoots upward, and that can kind of save you. Otherwise, if Arson's not out, he does a little grappling hook sort of thing. But that is super hit and miss. So other than that, like, I played a ton of Smash. When I wasn't playing Joker, I was just goofing around with other characters. And at one point I said, okay, I'm picking something special. And I picked purple Luigi. I basically picked Luigi, made his outfit purple. And I said, I called this not Waluigi, but then I noticed that T had purple Luigi as well. And that was an outright fucking mess, having two people with the exact same character in Smash. Julian is wandering around the arena. He's like, I don't know who I'm hitting now, but this is crazy.
Doesn't matter, you hit everybody.
Right. But also it became known as the purple Luigi fiasco because it was just bananas. And Smash is chaotic from the outset, where, you know, there's all these items and now there are so many different summons. I don't really know what the Smash trophies are. I don't know if that's the same as a summon, because like there's those little jars with a black figure in it. You open that and like it could be a character from Castlevania, or all of a sudden someone from Metal Gear Solid shows up, someone from Bayonetta shows up. Bayonetta actually pretty badass in Smash. Can't wait for that Bayonetta 3 to come out, but you know, we'll be
Forget
patient.
about it.
I'm not forgetting.
I saw a report today that Platinum, you know, somewhat suggested that Nintendo won't let them talk about the game.
That makes sense.
Nintendo won't talk about shit.
Well, which makes sense if it's, you know, leading up to its release soon. They just don't want anything being like slipped or anything. You know, I mean, we've got like this month's crazy, but anyways, finish what you were saying.
So I feel like I'm getting better at it.
Nice.
I've gotten to the point where I've bumped up the computer skill a little bit to try and just have something a little more
to bang your head
against.
Like you were like, oh, I got through this wall, I need to make my own wall.
I was also losing my own fair share of times. So especially when there's a new challenger that shows up doing the single player, and just all of a sudden, and I did find out that you can go rematch them. There's a menu where it's like it's a gate like in the bottom right of one of the menus where it's like challenger approach. So you can any challenger that you've already fought and lost to, you can go back and just fight them again.
Oh, that's cool.
Is there like a cooldown? I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I unlocked them all.
I do not know. All I know is before I went to bed, well into the morning on Saturday, or well into Sunday morning, I unlocked another 12 characters. So yeah, I've been playing some Smash. Reba and I played more Under Night, which we love that game. I got her playing with a fight stick. And I think I'm going to buy her a fight stick because she seemed to enjoy playing with a fight stick more than a controller. Because I think it didn't necessarily make more sense to her, but actually, like she has, like, I guess, some radiculopathy that kind of acts up when she's playing with a controller for more than a few hours.
I don't know.
So. Radiculopathy is when your discs in your spine crush the nerves, and it's something that happens just with age. Like, it's not necessarily something. You can, like, you and I will get it eventually, but but when she played with the fight stick, she was like, okay, she started getting used to it really fast, but then she noticed she was able to go a lot longer. So I think a fight stick is in her future. And
Check out
then
the
we
8-bit do one. Just came out.
I looked at that. I've also looked at just getting another mini Hori because that's the one I have, and I really like it.
Nice. Yeah.
And then we decided to try Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator 2. And holy shit, my friends.
Having a good time?
Oh my God, we had so much fun with this. And the game is actually stunning to just look at, to just watch in motion. I mean, going back to like, it through 2D fighter history, we all know like the old Street Fighter intros or
Happy 30th.
Yes.
Isn't it 30? Street Fighter?
No, it would be 40.
Maybe it is 40. I'm sorry. I know the anniversary was soon for Street Fighter 2. Sorry.
Yeah. Right. Well, Street Fighter 2, I think was 92. So I think that's it's next year. And I think original Street Fighter, which I believe was called Fighting Street, was 89. So that would have been, it would have been 89 or 90, I think.
I think you're right.
Anyway,
yeah, it's 40. But go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, this game has full-on anime intros that are just bonkers to look at. The roster of characters is it's a beautiful amount of variety. Like there's Bedman, who is a man who's in a bed because like I called him medical patient, but Reba and I were kind of, as we were playing it, like, no, I think he's supposed to be a psych patient of some sort. But anyway, his bed basically turns into a giant robot, and he doesn't really turn into a robot, just all the apparatus on it are what you fight with. And then it turns into a buzzsaw at times, and it's bananas. I ended up landing on May, who is a pirate, a tiny pirate carrying a gigantic anchor that she swings around. She's ultimately pretty fast, and her celebrations are that old school Chun-Li energy that I really, really love. There's also a guy named the-A-ter who is fighting while on his cell phone the entire time. That's pretty awesome. And then oh yeah he is, but he's holding this. It's not like earpiece and microphone. No, he is one arm, both legs, and he is Gordon Gekko, basically.
He's definitely
updated.
A parent. He's got to be a parent, because parents can pull off the one hand like
right. Yeah, pulling off sick anime fighting moves. Then the one Reba ended up just absolutely obliterating me with is Baiken, who is a lovely samurai lady whose intro is part Kurosawa, definitely, but then it's like part Killer 7. It's this game is fantastic. I went through, like, you go into story mode, and the story mode is actually, you're not playing, you're just watching an anime, which is delightful. I'm just like, oh, okay, good. I much rather prefer this presenting what is ultimately a batshit crazy fighting game story about post-apocalypse, I guess. I only got about 40 minutes through where I was like, I just want to fight something again. But we had an absolute ball. I would totally recommend looking at this game at the very least, just looking at it, watching some of the insta kills and the specials, and then purchasing that way. Like, luckily for us, like, neither of us are looking to go to Evo or participate in the get good mentality around the fighting community. We just actually found something we both super enjoy, and that has actually been like the highlight of 2021 thus far. And yeah, Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator 2 is awesome, and I'm actually like, I've got one eye now on Guilty Gear Strive, which comes out soon, I believe. I think April. And that'll probably be something I bring home and say, hey, Reba, check this out. And she'll be like, oh, more Guilty Gear? I'll be like, yeah, more Guilty Gear. And she'll either like it or hate it, but either way, I'll probably still play with Julian. So yeah, thank God for that guy getting me into fighting games again, creating this problem. That poor man. Also, the game I've been playing for the past 2 weeks solid is Hitman 3. Hitman 3 is basically more of Hitman 2 and Hitman 2016 without feeling, it still doesn't feel worn out. The formula is not worn out. I'm not going to say I don't like the new mechanic they've added, because they, instead of adding something environmental that helps the player, it gives the player additional options in the environment to hide. It's just an additional key for a lock, essentially, because the camera, they add a camera, and the only time I've seen it used so far is when your buddy says, okay, point your camera at that window. I'll bet you I can hack the lock with it, which fine, whatever. Future tech, whatever. Let's just suspend some disbelief here. But I think that is a lesser upgrade than adding the tall grass in Hitman 2, where you could hide in the tall grass. Because the tall grass just provided stupid hilarity when you hid in it, because you could stand trespassing in a hostile area and they'd be like, hey, you're not supposed to be here, but you duck into the tall grass. All of a sudden, like, wait, where'd he go? And I would do that for hours and just laugh at whoever was around me, because that's what Hitman is to me. I've done the first 2 levels of Hitman 3 and then decided to, I was hoping IO would wait a little longer before they released a roadmap containing like elusive targets and upgraded escalations and things like that, because I wanted to have more time with the new stuff. Well, their first elusive target is in Sapienza, and that's from Hitman 1, so I'm like, okay, I have to get back to Sapienza and figure that shit out again. So I ended up doing that, getting myself Mastery 20, which isn't necessary to do like the elusive targets, but if you want to try and find your way around, it's a good way to just know the level. That way you can sort of anticipate what's where.
Are those timed as in like the elusive target is gone after a while, or is it just they add it and you can do it whenever?
The elusive targets they're free add-ons, but they're timed. So I think this one is February 20 something to March 8th.
Okay.
And
cool.
Like that's how that, but the real problem is you've got one shot at them. And that's probably the one thing I dislike the most. If you try and complete the mission, you don't have to try it again. You've got it. You don't really get any more mastery for it or whatever. But if you try and fail, that's it. You don't get a redo. Now I do know you can, or at least you could in 2, because I did this on 1 or 2 of them. You can restart the mission while you're in the mission. That doesn't eliminate. As long as like you've not been noticed by the target, I think you're good to just restart. But as I said earlier, Moose, you made some unknowing cameos in my weekend, and that's because I dropped one of your brethren onto one of the targets in Marrakesh. It was great.
Yeah.
He's a corrupt banker trying to start a coup in Morocco. And while he was being interviewed by the news media, I dropped a moose on him.
It's a way to do it.
And it was awesome. I was like, okay, where do I get to shoot? Because like this giant moose is suspended above the target while he's talking about, oh, I'm just trying to bring peace to this land and help everybody get what they deserve. When really, he's just being a fucking asshole, trying to bleed it dry of resources and tell the people there to fuck off because that's what capitalism does. I'm looking at this moose. I'm like, okay, I have to get somewhere where I can shoot the rope that it's hanging from. Well, I walked into this studio room and turned on some studio lights to try and distract one of the guards because it took a guard just all the way over there. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm here by myself, unseen. And then I look down at the end of the room and there's a switch, and I go up to the switch and it says, release the moose. So I released the moose.
Yeah.
And Hitman is so good. There's something brilliant when you sort of Mr. Magoo your way to a plan coming together. It is absolutely just, it's some of the most perfect gameplay I can even think about as a design, but also while playing it, it moves like super sluggish. It's very plotting, and also everybody in that world is 100% dumb. Like Brad Shoemaker of Giant Bombs, right? You can't think about everybody in this environment as a person because people don't act this way. You don't throw a coin and that distracts somebody from, 40 feet away, and they just come over and look around and going, hello, anybody there?
What was that?
So yeah, exactly. So I went through Marrakesh, and I was like, okay, there's some weird challenges in Marrakesh. And so I decided to throw people into a well, which kills them. But apparently you get an accomplishment for doing it 5 times. So you throw 5 people in a well, it says make a wish. And Hitman's real good.
Poor Timmy.
What?
Poor Timmy down the well.
Oh, Timmy O'Toole. And then going back to Paris and turning yourself into Helmut Kruger, the fashion model, and walking on the runway is still just a silly, dumb thing. That game's good. That game is still fucking amazing. I will say this, the second level of the new stuff, the first one is Dubai, which is a really cool looking level, but it's definitely like, this is your tutorial for...
You gonna break a speed run?
Huh?
You gonna break the speed run on that?
Oh,
remember
no.
that link I sent? What was it, 9 seconds?
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, and you can set yourself up and do things like that where you start in a different spot, and if you start in a different spot with a sniper rifle and it just happens to be the right time, or if you know the loop very well, you could start there and just pop and done. With Dubai, I actually used the target's security system against them. I used their security shutters.
Nice.
And it traps them in a room. First, you basically alter their schedule. So you schedule a meeting, and so they get to this room, and they're like, "So why are we meeting here? I thought this was supposed to be later. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be later." Well, then the security door is shut. They don't really care because they want it to be private anyway. And then your buddy shows up on screen, and he's like, "Hello, gentlemen." He's basically FaceTime threatening these 2 assholes, and and you know, and they're ultimately like sitting pretty in the tallest tower in the world, very high up above the ground, going, where are you? What are you going to do about it? He's like, well, I'm not the kind to get my hands dirty, but my friend here, and I'm standing right behind them with a model of said skyscraper in my hand. He has a particular flair for this sort of thing. And then I threw the model at one of them, and it basically went through their head, which is glorious. And then while the other one's trying to run away, I just catch up to him, and I think I just used the fiber wire and choked him out. Threw them both in like these chests that are around the room, because like there's just like hampers everywhere, so you can throw bodies in. So I threw them both in a hamper and then opened the security doors and walked out. Hitman rules. And then the second level is Dartmoor. It's basically Knives Out.
Nice.
It is
Sweet.
It is amazing, because you're in there, you walk in and you walk up to the gates of the manor, and this private eye is basically there. It's like, yeah, I'm here to meet with what's her face, because apparently a murder has happened and I need to solve it. Well, the cool thing is you can become that private detective and basically solve the case, at which point the matriarch of this castle in, I believe, Scotland, she basically hands you the file you need, which is a mission goal. Like it's something you have to do on top of eliminating her. And then you have a little conversation, and she's like, and if you answer a certain way, it sort of lets her know who you are. And she basically looks at you and goes, oh, I knew you'd be here eventually. And she basically walks out to a balcony, and she stands there, and you could basically throw her off. So I recommend doing the Knives Out thing and solving the murder in the house. And then just, you let a silent assassin, victory just hand itself to you. Hitman 3 is great. And I will continue to play Hitman 1 and 2 in Hitman 3 as I go, because holy shit, those games are so fun. That's games. What next?
There's some news.
Hit me.
For those still playing Stadia, you can't play Terraria.
Yeah. Whew. I'd be mad about that.
So
Yeah.
Is it the creator, Moose, or they're just one of the developers?
It's one of the head developers.
One of the developers has a beef with Google right now, because apparently his Gmail account has been locked for 3 weeks with no response. He can't access his YouTube or his Google Drive. So he said, well, Terraria is no longer available on Stadia. Now, I understand the gripe. There's questions I need answered, though. What did you do to get your account? He claims he did nothing against terms of service, but I've had Google for who knows how long. I've never had my account locked, let alone 3 weeks straight. Something.
So it's Andrew Spanks. He's the co-creator. Now,
I mean,
in his defense, so you said that when I sent it to you, because you sent a game to me, said Terraria ripoff, and I was like, it looks similar, which is Abound. Was that this week?
Yeah.
So and I saw that article.
Wait, what's it called?
Abound.
Abound. Oh, I was thinking. I'm like
Aground. It's like
Aground. Sorry,
like a pixel. It's even more pixely 8-bit Terraria. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought, like, wait a minute, Starbound? Is that what you're talking about? Because that was definitely a Terraria like. Anyway, also, I'm just seeing in the chat that you were right. It is 30. I'm sorry.
I was going to say 40 years would have been like
my math is
81.
Bad. My math
that
is
would have been
bad.
on like a Coke Vision.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I sent the article to Jason, and Jason was like, well, he's like, we don't know the whole side, both sides of the stories, which is true. We don't know what, how he lost his account. So I started like looking into it, and apparently like Google could be a bunch of assholes. Like they can just, so I've read articles where people like have built their entire like business model in the cloud, and like there's been some suspicious activity, so it shuts down everything. It doesn't reach out to you and say, hey, we've got some suspicious activity, what is your answer to this, and give you a little bit to answer it. And then if you answer like, oh, we have no idea what that is, so please take care of it, they just shut everything down automatically, and then you have to like break your back trying to get everything up and running again. I think it was like cloud computing. It was a company that runs wind mill, or the whatever turbines, the farms. So they run them all over the world, and it's like their entire system shut down.
Probably because they see the suspicious activity, shut your account down, and then email you to find out what happened. But you can't access
the email because you're locked out of your system. So I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I understand he's upset because like he's lost his Google account, which he's had for like 15 years. He's lost a bunch of like projects in there.
I legit hope Google's error, because if it's not, unfortunately he looks like a toddler throwing a tantrum. Because if he did anything wrong, then you know what? People shouldn't buy his game. That's like you pulled the game but it is possible. Google could have completely messed up, but
I do like the idea of him calling technical support and them saying, well, we sent you an email, and they're like, have you not, or he's like, have you not been listening?
Yeah.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition was announced.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Secret ever. May 14th. But there's
less bud.
Where's the next gen upgrade? It doesn't exist. There is no next gen upgrade other than whatever could be provided via the technology. There is no actual, and they were
software,
and they basically said we didn't do anything.
I kind of respect that.
Like, they're terrible.
I kind of respect that because, I mean, I know Mass Effect people have been wanting a Mass Effect remaster forever. But I kind of just say, you know what? We're putting it out. Here it is. I hope it is as good as you remember. We're not doing any of this because we're not who you think we are anymore.
Well, so is it BioWare who's actually doing the work for the remaster? They didn't farm it out or anything?
Well, apparently no work's being done.
Yeah.
No, it's done.
It's done, but like who did it? Basically, my point is, today I think they were talking about like some stuff seems to be up in the air over there. I don't know if it's because of EA's direction or whatever, but like they're basically voting on what they're gonna do, like how much work they're gonna put into, if any, for Anthem next or whatever the fuck the project's called. And then of course they've got Dragon Age. So they're working on stuff.
It's
they just have weird priorities sometimes.
Being developed by BioWare with assistance from Abstraction Games and Blind Squirrel Games.
Blind Squirrel, that is a great name.
So I read that and was like, that is amazing. But
they don't have to do anything to Mass Effect. They're Blind Squirrel, all right?
I feel
it makes sense though, because it came out that Andromeda was pretty much, what's the shittiest game you can make in Mass Effect that will release and make us no money and people will be pissed? And they're like, Andromeda, because apparently their budget was 2 worlds, 2 races, no references to the original game or hide it very obviously. Like they were basically doomed to fail from the get-go. Like that's shitty. And
Yeah.
and then today they announced that they'll have Anthem news, because that's something that you should really revisit and work.
Well, I think they said
the ship hasn't
Anthem
sailed
next,
on.
right?
the Anthem is like, are they going to move forward with quote unquote rebirth of Anthem, or if they're just going to like
Or
take
Anthem,
it out back and put it down?
Yeah, next.
Anthem Next. They're
It's a
referring.
weird name, Anthem Next. They're like, are we going to try to No Man's Sky this? Yes or no? Even we don't know. We might let you know.
Another
I don't
company
like
that's
that
going to
analogy,
have
but that's
news
okay.
soon. There's a certain remake that was recently released that has an orchestra concert this weekend, a Final Fantasy VII, and news will be out for the part 2.
I don't think they've confirmed that there will be part 2 news. Some people are speculating that they're just going to announce a PS5 upgrade for part 1, which I would be totally fine with.
That'd be cool.
Because as
Yeah.
soon as you do that,
You're going to play it again. I
I
want you
already put 100-something hours into
to do it again.
So yes.
Listen, don't be ashamed to play the games you love. You
I
know?
fucking love that game.
Exactly.
You know,
makes my soul
that Michaela, that statement comes from the epitome of playing games he loves
Yeah.
all the time. So Moose is shooting straight with you, and I agree completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually kind of hoping it's not remake part 2 news, because they don't want it to be too soon. They've got to manage PR between FF16 and FF7R part 2 reunion ? So
How long?
Look
how
into
long do
look into
you
the
feel
look into the crystal ball, Michaela.
as a fan is long enough before you hear news and maybe see a release date? What
For
are
which
your
one?
expectations? Well, 16 could be fucking any day now, probably.
Mhm.
Let's go with 7 first, and then we can get your prediction on maybe when 16's coming. So, as a fan of Final Fantasy 7, what would you like to see be like, hey, here's more news and here's a release date? Like how much time do you want them to take to
I
develop?
realistically think they should be releasing information like trailers and stuff next year. They
Okay.
should start to give information next year and release the year after. So looking
That'd
at
be
2022 as the trailers start coming, and 2023 as a release date, because that gives them about four-ish years, because they've already started working on part 2. They had started to do that when part 1 was wrapping up, obviously.
Mhm.
And they're gonna be able to reuse some assets and stuff like that. Like they don't have to redo the character models and shit like that. We know they're evolving it. We've heard some like very cryptic comments come from like Famitsu interviews about how they want to keep surprising players, which they very much did in part 1. But you don't want huge gaps. You don't want 7-year gaps, like Square Enix size gaps between part 1, part 2, part 3 of this remake, because then it's never going to come out. I think 2023 is appropriate for a release, with 2022 being the big ramp up year. And that would put 16. Some people are speculating 16 could come out by the end of this year, and that they've been working on it for a few, like at least 2 years at this point. I think is the number I saw, and it's not the crew that's been making 7 or even 15 before that. It's part of the crew that was working on 14. And there's been news recently for 14, but we'll get to that.
Yes, there is.
Isn't there another patch or something like that? Or was
Expansion,
it
not a patch.
expansion? Okay.
There's a new
Yeah.
expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An demo.
Yeah. So I think end of this year for 16. I mean, shoot your shot, but I'm thinking next year would be appropriate for 16.
So here is a good question. So around what time was the first special edition PS4 come out? Like the first custom, like specialized. Do we know off the top of our head by chance? Maybe a year after.
Yeah, I didn't get into the PS4 gen until 2017, so I clueless.
Second at the time, and then the
When did
PS5 is
when
I see where you're going, Moose.
No, where I'm going with this is I'm gonna say that I think Square's gonna do with 16 what they did with 15 and launch a special edition of the PS5 with the game.
It might be like one of those
but you
Japan only
can't
things.
Get fucking PS5s. So I can see how it might not be till next year, which is totally fine because it's like
yeah, and everything like I'm basically expect everything to get a little bumped this year.
Yeah,
Most
right.
things, unless they are really buttoned up, are going to get bumped. And
Right.
there's news about another game that got bumped already for the second time, I think.
I mean, speculation is that there won't be PS5s on store shelves to walk in a store and get one until first quarter 2022.
Yeah,
Which
it's
I,
going to be
which
difficult.
I actually believe, yeah.
Because the
AMD
pandemic's
is
not
like-
helping. The parts are hard to make and hard to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I totally buy that. But yeah, I think next year, like maybe like March-ish next year is appropriate for FF16. Final Fantasy
That'd be
has
good.
done very well releasing in that February-March window. 15 was a November release here in the US. At least I don't remember if it was a staggered release with Japan or not. Because Final Fantasy VII Remake was a worldwide simultaneous release. Final Fantasy is better than most JRPGs in terms of worldwide simultaneous release dates. Like East 9, which I'm playing now, came out last week here, came out in September 2019 in Japan.
Yeah, some of them do take a while to get here. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, you're
Persona coming out in a couple weeks. Been out for years as of last February.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Strikers is coming. Strikers, right?
Being a being a JRPG
Okay.
fan generally means being very patient. So I think
Not like you don't have 100-hour games to play anyways, but
they kind of over, yeah. So I think, well, we know news is coming within the first half of this year for 16. They've already told us that.
Yeah.
So I think the first half of next year is appropriate for a release for 16, and the following year is appropriate release for 7R. You don't want those releasing in the same year. You want to spread out that revenue. Square's got other properties that I was starting to bitch a little bit earlier about Nintendo not talking about it. They are doing nothing to promote Bravely Default 2.
Are they a March to March financial year?
Yes.
I could see 16, so it's still in, the 2021
16's
fiscal
March
year.
next year, you think?
Yeah, I think it'll
16
come
could be
out
March of
early
next year.
March, and then they can launch 7 the next, yeah.
Some people have speculated they think year end this year, like actual year, not fiscal year end for 16. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm thinking more fiscal year end for 16.
Yeah. I mean, heck, they could just be like, here it is, and just say screw it to the special edition console. Because maybe Sony's like, listen, we know you did a special console for 15. We'd love to allow you to do one for 16, but we've got Horizon coming out.
Yeah,
and
well, they
all
also
our consoles are going to that to become special edition.
They did a special edition for KH3 PS4 Pro, but it was Japan only, so they might do some shit like that. They do that a lot, where Japan gets all the nice stuff, and we have to sit over here and wait for the scraps.
I don't think I've ever seen it, but has anybody ever like gone back like 3 to 6 months later and been like, oh yeah, our game's been out for a while, now you can actually play it on the special edition console? I don't think I've ever seen that before, right? Like it's definitely not an afterthought.
No, it's usually with the release.
Yeah, it's usually with the release. That's what I thought,
But who knows how PS5 is going to work with these? Maybe it's just faceplates, and but they might release a console too. I don't know how. We haven't seen shit yet.
What's the COVID times? Like things are like, it's like, who knows what could happen, So anyways, it'll be interesting. I mean, I saw the trailer for 16 and I'm pumped.
It was dope. I like that it's different. It's not a Nomura project, which is, and nothing against Nomura. Obviously, I love his games. But it's nice to have a fresh look.
I was going to say a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, because like playing 12 recently is very, very different from, 13, from 15, from 10, from 14. So I like it when the series pivots a little bit and does something a little different. And I like how cool the icons look. I'm very hyped for 16. 16 and Horizon are my 2 most anticipated games right now. So 7 Remake Part 2.
Nomura, is he Final Fantasy or is he Kingdom Hearts?
He both.
Or is he both?
He both.
Okay.
He's been with Final Fantasy for a very, very, very long time. He's been with Final Fantasy since at least 6. He did a lot of the character design and stuff like that for a long time. But he didn't become a main director until later because he was a younger one. Like there was like your Sakaguchis and whatever, and Nomura was like a generation behind him almost.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the 16 director is going to be like the 14 director guy who did that stuff.
Okay.
The other Final Fantasy news is 14's next and last expansion, is it? Or is
it said it's the end of the Zodiac and something else story.
Oh, okay.
They didn't. I don't think they said it's last expansion or not.
Walker.
I might keep milking that cow.
That'd be crazy to have it be the last expansion.
Yeah, I don't know. It's coming out in the fall, but there's an open beta in April on PS5 because it said he will be available PS5 and 4, I guess, and PC in the fall.
What's it called again? It starts with an E.
Endwalker.
Endwalker. Yeah, it sounds final, doesn't it? But it's I don't think they confirmed it.
That'll definitely be the PS4's last expansion because I think not this last one, but the one before it was the last one for PS3. So,
Prince of Persia was delayed. To no one's surprise, because that looked rough.
Looked rough.
It didn't look like a remaster.
It looked like a demaster.
It looked like a bad ROM or some shit. Like, who knows? Oh boy.
Epic Games is having a spring showcase on February 11th. So there'll be some big announcements.
Fortnite.
E3 may be completely digital this year.
How could they do it any other way? Because not everybody's vaccinated yet. So it's weird news where it's like the ESA is like, we're changing our direction. Okay, so you mean you're going to have a show as opposed to not existing anymore.
You've been changing directions a lot, ESA. Figure it out.
And THQ Nordic, which is a subsidiary of Embracer Group, and they bought Gearbox.
Mm-hmm.
Are they bringing Pitchford?
Yes, they'll keep him.
Gearbox is working still on its own. I don't know. They said,
Are they going to give him? Are they going to give him a USB drive?
Was it more of like a merger than a straight acquisition where like THQ is like just more in charge?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Gearbox has to make a certain amount of money or something like that. It's a weird agreement. I'm sure it's not that weird in the world of business. But it's weird compared to what I know about.
In Gearbox news, another role was cast in the Borderlands movie, which I'm probably the biggest Borderlands fan of the four of us, and I fully expect this to be crap because video game movies are, well, crap.
Yes.
So we have Cate Blanchett as Lilith.
Which is what?
But after her playing Hela in Thor, I could see it.
Oh, sure. No, look. The other one you're about to announce.
Hold on. There's two of them about to announce.
But Cate Blanchett, one of the best actresses of her generation in a Borderlands movie. I have no doubts that Cate Blanchett will deliver a fucking performance.
Kevin Hart is Roland.
Yes, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
When does Kevin Hart play anyone other than Kevin Hart?
Right.
And then today's news, Jamie Lee Curtis is Janice.
Mm-hmm. What are we doing? Borderlands the senior years?
I think they're trying to do the Expendables with Borderlands. I think that's what they're doing.
I mean, listen, nothing against Jamie Lee Curtis. She's awesome, but like,
right.
You're a little bit.
She's not Tannis.
Not Tannis.
I mean, now, do I think that
my
Jamie
first
Curtis,
love on Pandora?
Yeah. Do I think Jamie Lee Curtis could probably deliver a Tannis performance? Yes.
Yeah.
The Kevin Hart thing is still the one that's.
She's like, what?
That dude's like 4 feet tall. Roland was like at least 6 foot.
Yeah, Roland's
Some on stilts.
Yeah, Roland's a strapping, gentlemanly looking military dude.
Like, who are they gonna get to play Brick?
Rock.
Rob Gronkowski.
There you go.
Could definitely fit into a Borderlands movie.
Definitely.
Who's gonna be Mordecai? Like, if they're going with Roland,
Johnny Depp.
No. No. God, no.
I don't think Johnny Depp's allowed to work in.
Did you guys ever watch Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Do you remember the main guy from the Wamapoke Indian tribe?
Vaguely.
Or Wamapoke Native American tribe, I should say. I'll bet you he would do a good Mordecai, I think.
I'm intrigued as a Borderlands fan. Like, I have no expectations, but it's Eli Roth and it's the guy who wrote Chernobyl is writing this.
That's some crazy talent right there, because Chernobyl
was really good.
And
Eli Roth, not so much, but
and that is like just 3 of there's still major roles like they have to fill.
Yeah.
They better have Marcus. I swear to God, if they don't have Marcus, it's gonna be it's something.
I bet you Lev Schreiber would do a good Marcus.
I can see that. I like Lev Schreiber.
Borderlands is getting a movie.
What about
y'all.
Scooter? You have to have Scooter.
What's the dude from It's Always Sunny? Day? Is it Day?
Danny DeVito?
No, not Danny DeVito.
I know.
He's Claptrap.
No, no, I know who you're talking about.
What the heck?
I can't think of his name, but there's that meme of him with the bulletin
The
board.
map. Yeah, the map, and it's
Pepe Sylvia. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
The Pepe Sylvia guy.
All right.
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day.
I knew it was Day. I was like, I know his last name is Day. Yeah, Charlie Day, I think, would be a good Scooter.
Oh,
He'd be able to pull that off. Moxie?
On one of the trips,
He's one of those vault hunters. Yeah, I think
you ain't going to robot some bitch.
All right, Moose.
I think on one of the trips my sister came out here. We actually bumped into Charlie Day, and my sister got her picture taken with him.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. That's it for news.
Yeah, that's it.
Cue the moose. Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD-merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely Queen of the Guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter @StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool @Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at Obilisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter @GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at Obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter @RedXMaud. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be @infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.